Ha? Okay, for now ay meron lang tayong tutungayan dito sa nagaganap na press briefing ng abogado ni Zaldy Co. Okay, tune in ho tayo dito sa press briefing ho.
How's this? Okay. Again, my client, Representative Zaldy Co, has been asking me for the last few months to say something in reaction to the various accusations made against him. No? Now, those of you who have met me in the past know that I do not litigate my cases in the media. I litigate only in courts of law where only admissible evidence matters. But I've been monitoring the news, and the narrative has become so skewed, has become so twisted, no? Because of the misinformation, deliberate or not, spread by interested persons in these cases. And against my better judgment, maybe I figured it's time to say something. Now, Representative Ko would have wanted to be here himself so he can answer your questions. Unfortunately, there are credible and serious threats to his life na he's really afraid to come out at this time. Now, hopefully I can answer some of your questions. I don't have a prepared statement. Hopefully I can answer some of your pressing questions, and hopefully we can, the objective is to realign, no, to redirect the narrative para, so we level the playing field again, because I'm afraid that not only the press but the people in general have been misled by inaccurate statements and interpretations of the law, as you might have noticed. Now, let me jump the gun, because I know someone will ask this inevitably. I do not know where he is. I do not know where he is because I never asked him where he is. It's not relevant for his defense. And I never asked because I don't want to have to lie to any of you when you ask me that question as to where he is. I never asked. So, let's go. Yes? I know you, Camille.
Sir, you mentioned na hindi po nagmamatter yung kung saan nasaan si Mr. Kono with his defense, but the ombudsman already sent a letter, I think, po sa residence si Mr. Ko para makapag-file siya ng counter affidavit. So, ano po yung magiging tugon ng legal team for this? Kasi ang sinasabi po ni Assistant Ombudsman Miko Clavano, kapag hindi po tinik po ito ni Mr. Ko yung opportunity to file his counter, mawawalan na po siya ng chance, and then they will proceed with the resolution. Is Mr. Ko planning to file his counter here personally in the Philippines or in the Philippine Embassy abroad?
Okay. Ang sinabi ko, Camille, na hindi relevant yung presence niya. Ang sabi ko, hindi relevant yung knowledge ko kung nasan siya. Now, his presence is, of course, required for him to answer yung charges. But let me be clear. I have not seen any complaint. No? Kasi a criminal investigation has to be initiated by a complaint. Meron naman kayo nakitang complaint? Anyone? When I say complaint, I mean something that has been sworn to under oath. And the only thing I've heard is that the ICI has referred its tentative findings to the Ombudsman. I don't think it's under oath, so I don't think that was a complaint. Now, under the Ombudsman's own rules, if there is an unsworn to complaint that's not verified, the Ombudsman is required to ask the witnesses to swear to it, to swear to supporting affidavits, and also the complainant, whom is also unidentified as of now, to submit a sworn affidavit. So, I don't know what he's supposed to answer. But that said, ang observation ko is that the Ombudsman Boying Remulla, has already said that he intends to file these cases by November 25. November 25. Now, assuming Mr. Ko is served today, that doesn't give them a lot of time for him to answer, for the Ombudsman to review and to write a resolution. My thinking is the Ombudsman has already prejudged this case. And this is bolstered by the statements of Secretary Vince Dizon, who said 60 people will be in jail by Christmas. Under these circumstances, there's really no tactical benefit to filing a counter affidavit. So the answer is, at this time, the way things are going, no, he does not intend to file a counter affidavit.
But, sir, kung ipatawag ba si Mr. Co, is he willing to personally attend? Like, for example, in the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee is inviting him in the next hearing, which is on November 14. Is he planning to even acknowledge to attend? Because in the past, he would release a statement na he will answer the allegations in the proper forum. And this time, he's being given the chance to explain himself.
I don't know what he has to explain to the Senate because the Senate is investigating facts. Wala pa naman accusations sa Senate. And like I said, he's deathly afraid of coming home because may serious threats to his life. One half of the country wants to throw him in jail and throw away the key. The other half wants to string him up by the nearest tree. Would you come home under those circumstances? I wouldn't recommend that he come home. But to the extent possible, Camille, to the extent possible, we will respond to the Senate if we're invited.
Attorney, good morning. This is Chill po from the Zexal Ornament. Yes po.
Hi, Chill.
Yes, good morning po. Attorney, is Representative Zaldy Co willing to release his SALN?
No need. Ombudsman Remulla has reversed the martires lock on SALNs. Anyone can get his SALNs from the Ombudsman. Did I get that correctly? I think that's what one of the first things he did was to unlock the SALNs.
Yeah, but sir, if Mr. Co will release his SALN.
He doesn't have to, Camille. It's open to anyone.
Do you think the House Secretariat has access to SALN? And the Ombudsman covers different rules?
No, my understanding...
I think the Ombudsman can only release SALNs for the President, the Vice President, for constitutional offices, for senators and House members. They're covered by usually the Senate Secretariat or the House Secretary General. Although I understand that the former Congressman Zaldy Co has now resigned, but does that mean that he's willing to voluntarily release his SALN because no one can really compel him to at this time?
I haven't discussed that with him because I am sure that the Ombudsman will release his SALNs. I'm sure. You were talking about you're referring to the conditions imposed by the martires lock. I think one of Boying's first acts was to unlock the SALNs, and you can get it anytime.
Okay.
I give you a copy, but I don't have
I know,
one.
sir, but the Ombudsman is not the custodian of the SALNs.
He is.
I don't
He
think
is.
so, sir.
He is. Alam ko, as far back as the Gloria presidency, I've always thought that the Ombudsman was... I can show you a copy, if you like, once I get one.
Okay, attorney, follow up.
Yes.
Regarding naman dun sa mga helicopter,
Okay.
nire-register daw po ni Representative Zaldy Co yung mga,
You have to be very precise with me on the choppers. What's the question?
yung 5 na chopper po,
5 na choppers. Okay.
na nakalabas na po, 5, yung nakalabas po ng bansa.
Okay.
Tatlo pala, attorney, sorry.
Okay. Si Representative Ko, wala siyang may-ari na any aircraft. I understand that any aircraft related to him is owned by Mississippi's Aviation. Now separate si Mr. Ko sa Mississippi's. You should ask the lawyer of Mississippi's. I'm not the lawyer. But see, yan na yung yan na yung isang misinformation na malaki. That's the reason we're here. Because Secretary Dizon keeps saying na ito-freeze lahat yan, iko-confiscate yan. If you look at his SALN, Mississippi's Aviation was incorporated in 2004, 2008. Now, Zaldy Co became a congressman in 2019. So, yung aviation company na in which he owns stock is what? Was already 15, 16, 17 years old before he became when he became a congressman. Now, sinasabi ni Secretary Dizon na ifo-forfeit daw. Dalawa lang ang forfeiture dito, no? A criminal forfeiture will require a criminal conviction, that's final. A civil forfeiture will require proof and a final decision that the forfeited property was illegally acquired. How can something that was acquired by a company 17 years before he became a congressman be illegally acquired?
So sa madaling salita, sir, hindi po kay Representative Zaldy Co yung tatlong chopper?
No. Not that I know of na meron siyang personal na chopper. Must be Miss Ibis Aviations, which again is an old company. Eh, naka-report sa SALN niya yun, ha?
Thank you, Attorney.
Sir, good morning.
Hi.
Hannah po from Billionario.
Hi, Hannah.
Clarification lang din tungkol dun sa naging Senate Blue Ribbon hearing nung September. Basically, mainit po kasi yung mata ni Congressman Zaldy Co sa publiko because of the supposed cash deliveries made by his former aide, Orly Guteza. First, sir, can you confirm if Guteza was indeed an aide, a former aide of Zaldy Co?
The first time I heard that name was at the Senate hearing, or was it the House? I learned about that Mr. Guteza's name. I heard Mr. Guteza's name for the first time at the same time you did, nung nahiling ko. I know that he had two aides, something biblical, Matthew, Luke, something.
Mark and Paul, sir?
Whatever, na former aides niya, but I understand also that they were no longer connected with him at the relevant time. Now, if you're asking me whether or not there were deliveries to Representative Co at any time, no. Categorical.
You deny all the cash deliveries, including the
To
luggage,
him?
sir? Yes, to his house, to his condo.
Who's making that accusation, Hannah?
It was Orly Guteza who
And where is he now?
we can't find him, sir. It's for us to find out.
There you
But
go. You have to forgive me, you know. My brain isn't trained to think that way. I'm always evidence-based. Kaya nga, the reason why you're here is para ma-realign nga natin, ma-redirect natin yung narrative. Na wag naman chismis, wag naman speculation. Because hindi tatayo in a court of law.
would you say, sir, ito po yung isa sa mga sinabi nyo kanina na narrative na skewered?
Yes. Because who's saying na mayroon deliveries? Did they see my client receive the delivery of money? I'll even reduce it to an absurdity, ano? Is it possible na may utang lang sila at nagbayad sila?
Sir, is Congressman Zaldy Co willing to attend any Senate Blue Ribbon probe? I believe invitations were sent already.
Again, he will as soon as the threat to his life is abated.
By who, sir? Sino po ang may
Look
nagte-threat?
around you. Ang dami, it's all over social media. I'm not tech savvy. Nakikita ko everyday yung mga threats sa kanya. Isabit na yan, bitayin na yan, etc. etc.
Virtually, sir, at least.
Virtually, what does that mean?
Via Zoom. If
Siya?
he will. Kasi, sir, I believe there's a quotation that flight is an indication of guilt. So, if ever ba willing po siyang humarap para at least marinig din ng taong bayan yung side niya.
Okay, number one, wala pang criminal case against him. As far as I know, wala pang criminal accusation. Number two, yung flight is an indication of guilt is a misused term. Hindi yan ang ibig sabihin yan if you look at its history under U.S. federal law. I'll discuss that with you privately. Masyado mahaba.
Sige, sir.
But outdated yung, misused and outdated yung concept na yan.
So, would you say he's not, hindi siya tumatakas, basically?
No. Kasi Hannah, remember that he flew out for medical reasons way before this whole thing blew up. Diba? When did this blow up? After the SONA. He flew out as early as February, I think. So hindi siya tumakbo. Let's get that clear. Again, let's redirect the narrative.
Good morning, sir. This is Arles from One News po.
Arles?
Yes po.
Hi, Arles.
I have seen the Ombudsman referral, the ICI's referral to the Ombudsman, wherein Bryce Hernandez claimed that he delivered a bulk of cash on the first quarter of 2025 in his in-cost residence in Valle Verde, wherein there's no furniture inside, just luggages of cash, and then it was received by a certain Paul Estrada. Has Co ever confirmed or denied these allegations?
Na may delivery?
Both having Paul Estrada and his residence having no furniture at all.
We talked about that and he said, I have no knowledge about any delivery. Because if you talk to Mr. Hernandez, I'm sure he will say that my client was not there. And again, you know, she said, he said yan eh. Because he says that he delivered it And yet he admits to owning a Ferrari, a Lamborghini, everything else. And Representative Co is just saying, no such thing. Walang nangyaring ganyan. So who do you believe?
But on the latter part of the Ombudsman referral case, sir, there's a certain sentence there wherein it was received by a certain Paul Estrada with an acknowledgement receipt being kept by Alcantara. So have you also reached out to a certain Paul Estrada and having him on cause?
I'm not there yet. Like I said, I heard that Mr. Estrada, Paul, was once upon a time employed by him or employed for him. I'm not sure, but at the relevant time, maybe during the deliveries, that he was no longer employed by Representative Co. I don't know. I can get back to you. Hindi naman ito yung last natin. I can get back to you on that. Understand that I don't know everything about the case just yet. I'll get back to you.
And then, sir, you've said that Ko has serious threats in his life.
Yes.
So does this mean that he also has pangamba or hindi pagtiwala sa pamahalaan that he can be safely, safeguarded just to face all the allegations to him?
Hindi naman. But the government cannot protect you all the time, eh. Di ba? Walang guarantee na ganyan. People die in jail. Di ba? People with a shot in the head, and you have heads of state surrounded by 20 armed men who still downed by a sniper. Ako personally, ang bigger fear ko is vigilante violence. Because nga everyone hates him. That's the reason I'm here. Again, no, I don't litigate in the media, but the reason I'm here is because maybe we can tone down the temperature, we can lower it a little bit, because personally, I'm deathly afraid of vigilante violence. Someone who thinks that he's a moral guardian of the Filipino people will just take a paltik and shoot him anywhere.
Sir, siguro last na lang, because
Sure.
the year is ending, 2026 is fast approaching. I know this might sound so vague and irrelevant, but how long is Zaldy Co planning to not go back to the country, aside from just like pahupain lahat ng threats sa life niya? How long will the Filipino people wait for his response on all the allegations?
Well, I'll try to respond as best I can, but yung fear kasi is subjective, eh. I can't tell him na don't be afraid. You know? In the same way that I can't tell you not to be afraid of something. If he fears, and again, I don't blame him, if he fears that there are threats to his life, I don't blame him, and I wouldn't recommend that he come home either under these circumstances. Where's Christina?
Sir, Tina po from GMA.
Hi, Tina.
Sir, you said kanina po that the information are skewed against former Representative Co. What did you mean by that?
The narrative.
The narrative?
Yes.
What did you mean by that?
I'll give you an example. Ang daming nagtatanong, no? In fact, it's a very hot topic na yung corruption ng corruption in general, whether it's a budget or yung mga flood control projects, di ba? You have to understand that there is no such thing as generic corruption. Eh. In fact, there is no such thing as a generic crime. When you accuse someone of a crime, you have to indicate with precision the what, where, when, who, and how. Di ba? You can't say that I killed someone. You have to tell me I killed Juan de la Cruz in San Juan on this date with a knife. Diba? So if you say corruption, may mga specific elements yan. And one indispensable element of corruption is there has to be damage to the government. Actual damage in the nature of civil actual damages. So if you say na may corruption, let's say yung 2025 budget, diba naririnig ko yan. Ano yung damage to the government? Eh hindi nga implemented. What is the corruption? What is the extent? What is the precise damage to the government? That's a corruption na yun.
What about the previous years, sir? 2023, 2024?
Again, in line with my reason, with my thinking, you have to tell me what the accusation is. What's the accusation, Tina?
The flood control projects.
Which flood control project?
They listed several in the hearings.
Yeah, but you're asking me to answer a generic question. Yeah. Okay, Oriental Mindoro. Ano yung one?
Recommendation ng ICI.
Okay. Kasama ba si Representative Co?
Sunwest as well.
He's not SunWest. See, that's the thing.
Among.
Yes, if you look at his SALN, and I know this for a fact that he divested from SunWest before he became a congressman. Again, no, yan na nga yung skewed narrative eh. The person, the stockholder is not the corporation. If I own shares in federal land, doesn't mean I can stay in Grand Hyatt for free just because federal land owns Grand Hyatt. Diba? So, just because he's a member of a corporation, which he is not, SunWest, let's get that clear. Just because SunWest is accused of something, that doesn't filter down to the stockholders. Again, he's not a stockholder. I don't represent SunWest, though. You should ask SunWest's lawyers. But let's get it right lang. If there's a wrong committed by a corporation, that wrong does not contaminate the stockholders.
Sir,
Otherwise, lahat tayo sa pool na.
go ahead.
Yeah, that's it.
Where is he now?
Okay, yan ho ang bahagi ng press conference ho ng abogado ni resigned Congressman Zaldy Co na si Attorney Ruy Rondain. Bigyan ko lang ng konting konteksto yung mga binanggit niya na importante na highlights doon sa sinabi ni Attorney Ruy Rondain. Una-una sabi niya hindi niya alam kung nasaan ngayon ang kanyang kliyente na si Congressman Zaldy Co. At sabi niya ay talagang takot na makauwi ng bansa ang dating congressman dahil daw merong banta, serious threat to his life. At yung sinasabi niya na how he described it is parang vigilante violence that may be initiated against his client. So takot ho na makauwi ho si Congressman Zaldy Co. Tapos yung importante pa, for now, wala daw siya nakikita na parang complaint na nadala sa kanya, parang naririnig lang niya at yung tungkol nga sa press conference ng ICI na isang yung findings daw na ibinigay na sa ombudsman. Pero for now, ang paniwala niya, yung ombudsman daw prejudge na raw yung kaso niya. So hindi, wala pa formal complaint as far as the attorney is concerned. So ayun, tapos handa naman siya magbigay ng kanyang counter affidavit once na makuha ang kanyang yung kasi 'di ba hinihingian siya ng counter affidavit, sabi ho ni Miko Clavano ng ombudsman, no. Pero handa siyang magbigay noon at saka willing din siyang ibigay yung kanyang SALN kasi automatic na yan nasa opisina ho yan ng ombudsman. At sabi niya, itinatanggi niya na mayroong pagmamayari o air assets ho si Congressman Zaldy Co. At ang may-ari daw ng mga helicopter at saka yung Gulfstream na yung airplano ay Mizibis Aviation Corporation na matagal ng pag-aari din talaga ni Zaldy Co. At yun ay nakareflect daw doon mismo sa kanyang SALN. So yan yung mga highlights at patuloy pa rin yung press conference